In this video, I am going to look at a game I played last Tuesday in the second round of this year's Horsham Club Championship. I had the black pieces and was up against Jordy Savill. The game started with the London system, a favourite of my opponent. d4, knight f6, bishop f4, g6. I chose the King's Indian formation against it. Knight c3. My opponent decided to transpose to the Jabava system. d5, e3, bishop g7, h4. This aggressive thrust is the most challenging move order, as it provokes h5, which is now more or less forced. The point is that h5 is now a threat, looking to sacrifice the exchange should black take. Should white delay h4 till after knight f3, then black would not be obliged to play h5. Knight f3, castles. Now knight e5, c5, queen d2 is the main line. However, white chose the less usual queen d2, although after my reply c5, he could have transposed back into the main line with knight e5. Instead, he chose the weaker d takes c5, when I responded with knight on b to d7, intending to recapture the pawn with the knight. After 9 castles, knight takes c5, white couldn't take the pawn with knight takes d5 because of knight takes d5, queen takes d5, queen b6, threatening to take on b2, bishop e5, bishop e6, followed, after the queen retreats, by moving a rook to d8 with a decisive attack. Instead, white chose knight e5, but after knight on c to e4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, he had an unenviable choice. Taking on d5 with queen takes d5 allowed queen takes d5, rook takes d5, knight takes f2. Queen e1 could be met by queen d6, hitting the knight on e5. White decided on queen e2, but after queen a5, king b1, bishop e6, black was building a strong attack on the queen side. White tried to drive the black knight back with f3, but black found a tactical response. d4. This both threatens mate in 2 with queen takes a2 followed by queen a1, and also to take on e5. White has no defence. Play went f takes e4, queen takes a2 check, king c1, bishop takes e5, bishop takes e5, bishop g4, queen e1. Now black could try d takes e3, b3, rook on a to c8, but decided on the simpler queen a1 check as he was starting to run short of time. Play continued. King d2, d takes e3 check. This deflection wins material. Queen takes e3 is met by queen takes d1 check, so white chose king takes e3, queen takes d1, queen takes d1, bishop takes d1. The position has resolved into what should be a one endgame for black, who is up the exchange and a pawn. However, the white bishop pair makes it tricky for black to break through into his opponent's position. Bishop d3, bishop g4. Black's initial plan is to restrict the white light squared bishop by covering the c4 and b5 squares with bishop e6 and a6 respectively. This also has the advantage of neutralising white's pressure on the a file. Rook a1, bishop e6, bishop d4, a6. Now black is ready to play rook on a to c8, followed by bishop c4 to exchange light squared bishops. If he achieves this, he should win easily, as white will not be able to stop the black rooks penetrating his position. Bishop c5. White positions his dark squared bishop well to prevent the planned exchange of light squared bishops, and also constrain black by attacking the e7 pawn. Rook on f to e8, king f4, rook on a to c8. b4. White naturally wants to keep his bishop on c5 to continue preventing the exchange of light squared bishops. Now black does have the idea of giving back the exchange with rook takes c5, followed by rook c8 and taking on c5, which would leave him 2 pawns up. However, this doesn't work as well as black would like when the white rook can be moved to the b file, attacking the b pawn and making it tricky for black to pick up the second pawn. Black therefore waits for a suitable opportunity while gradually improving his position. f6, g3, king f7, rook f1, rook g8. Black now angles for a breakthrough on the king side with g5. Rook f2. This allows black to execute his aforementioned idea. Rook takes c5. Black returns the exchange but gains 1 more pawn while eliminating the white bishop that was stopping him from making progress. b takes c5. Rook c8, e5, rook takes c5, e takes f6, e takes f6. This endgame, where black is 2 pawns up, is completely winning for him. Rook d2, b5. Black starts by pushing his queenside pawns as far as he can safely advance them. Rook d1, a5, king e4, bishop c4. Black takes the opportunity to swap bishops. King d4, rook d5 check. Now, king e4, f5 check forces the white king to a square where it no longer threatens the rook on d5, therefore allowing black to play bishop takes d3. So white chose king c3, bishop takes d3, c takes d3. White naturally captures this way, as taking with the rook would allow the liquidation into a pawn endgame that is winning for black. g5. Black now advances his kingside pawns as far as they can go. Rook a1, a4. This is the best arrangement of pawns, as the white king cannot now advance up the board. Rook f1, king g6, rook f2, rook f5. Rook b2. Obviously swapping rooks would lead to a losing pawn endgame. g4, rook b1, rook d5, rook f1, f5, rook f2, king f6. Black now looks to bring his king over to the queenside to support the advance of the passed pawns. Rook f1, king e6, rook f2, king d6, rook e2, king c5. Black is not worried about the rook penetrating, as his passed pawns are too powerful. Now d4 check is not a problem because of rook takes d4, rook e5 check, rook d5. So white chose rook e8, b4 check, king d2, a3, rook a8, king b6. Black threatens rook a5, followed by the advance of the a pawn. Rook b8 check, king a5, rook a8 check, king b5, king c2, rook c5 check. Now, king b3, rook c3 check, followed by rook takes d3 is obviously losing for white. So white chose king d2, rook c6. Black intends rook a6, followed by advancing the a pawn. White could see no defence and so resigned. It is interesting to note that the winning technique here is the same as in the classic Lucena position, demonstrating once more that it is one of the 2 fundamental positions of rook endgame theory, along with the Philidor position.